Hey there! So, after watching the videos, it made me do a lot of thinking, I'll be honest, on some things that I've been seeing for quite a while with my own development and with new people coming in, and more so with the people that are trying to progress up through the credit union. He mentioned something that really stood out to me, and it's the fact that we train on technical all day long. When you come into our organization, you're going to know the ins and outs on how to do transactions and loans and new accounts, but that's where we stop. We don't train on the people aspect, so to say. Yeah, we do. We talk about sales training and we talk about culture and we talk about all of that. But at what point do we get to the root of who the person is? So, my own experience, for instance, when I was in the branch, I thought that my only option was to advance up through an assistant manager and a branch manager. Thought that was the natural path. I really didn't have any other idea in the back of my mind of what I wanted to do. However, nobody actually sat down with me and talked about, is that actually what I want to do? What am I passionate about? As an employee of Forterra, who at this time had been here for several years, I never had that one-on-one talk with anybody until I sat down with David one time. And you told me something that really stood out to me. And you asked me, you said, why do you have to be a manager? Why do you have to be a branch manager? Why do you have to be at Forterra? And it really stood out to me when you asked me that. And honestly, I don't even know if you remember asking me that, but it really made me think. And then I started looking more into other roles. So I think something we need to do a lot better at Forterra is really focusing on the person and training people not on how to do their job, but more on how to be what they truly want to be. The second thing that really stood out to me is empathy. Especially when I was in operations, I dealt a lot with somebody that wasn't performing. So somebody that wasn't hitting loan numbers, somebody that wasn't hitting their new accounts. And it all came down to a performance review. But then you could see that exact same person in another environment, and they were stellar. So an example of me, when I was at Lafayette, I was $1 million winner every year. I was killing it. I had my members. That was my niche. I transferred to Spring Street and I was the least performer. I was awful. I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel like I connected with those members. My numbers showed it. It was awful. Went right back to Lafayette after a year or two and was killing it immediately out of the gate. So, at what point do we really sit down and try to figure out what's going on with the person? Stop looking at numbers. Stop looking at how they're doing in loans. Stop looking at how they're doing in new accounts. And like Simon said, ask them what's going on. Ask them, hey, how are your kids? Or hey, is there anything I can do for you? I'm also another example of this. I feel like I'm an example in several parts of this video because my own boss didn't know that I was in an abusive marriage. My own boss did not know that the struggles that I dealt with every single day going home to such a toxic environment was making up who I was, because at work I was on it. But it was because at work that was the only time I had control. But I would stress myself out at work to try to be so perfect because I wasn't perfect at home. Because I was in such an environment at home that I had to overachieve at work because I knew I wasn't going to get screamed at. So how many times throughout the organization have you looked at somebody and said, how are your kids? How are you doing? Do you need anything? I think we need to focus more on our people and more on developing people like the Jack Welch theory to leave the organization. I want my people to be able to have the opportunity to leave our organization. They don't have to be stuck here because they wouldn't excel at anything else. I just need a job. I just need a paycheck. Oh, I'm okay. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That's it. I clock out at 5 o'clock and I'm done. I want people, and I want to grow people that can leave the organization and blow people's minds. A true leader develops future CEOs and future COOs, but good leaders develop their people for what they want to do, for what they're passionate about, not what you want them to do. I may be a branch manager and I know I have to get loan numbers and new accounts and deposit dollars. So yeah, I'm gonna grow my people to do good loans and to, open accounts and to cross sell and all this kind of stuff. But deep inside, if I know my person's passionate about writing, well, guess what? I'm gonna give them tasks to write. I'm gonna use their passions and their creativity and whatever it is that they want to grow in, and I'm gonna use it for the success of this organization. Because we have people out here that are amazing at marketing. We have people out here that could write a policy like nobody's business, but we don't know because we're forcing them to do loans and we're forcing them to do new accounts. Get to know your people. Grow your people. Like Patty Hemmingson told me one time, grow somebody to take your seat. She looked at me one day and said, I am training you to take my chair. That's what we need to do. But it's only if your person wants your chair. Don't force them into your chair. Thank you.